Hello, I am Dr. John Watson. As you know, I solve unsolvable cases with the world's greatest detective, Sherlock Holmes, and we have solved many mysterious cases over the years. However, what I am about to tell you is completely new for us, and may never happen again. It was December 24th, 2014, and I was still sleeping in my bed that morning. John, John, I heard a voice calling. Opening my eyes and sitting up, Sherlock was standing in front of my bed. He once had done this before with me, just before we solved the case of the speckled band. "Holmes, what is it, old chap?" I asked. "Why must you wake me?" "Do you want to solve a mystery?" he sang to me. "We have another case." "Please, don't sing. Everyone's been singing those damn songs since that was released theatrically," I grunted at him. "Now tell me, what is it?" He grabbed an apple from his pocket and threw it at me. "That will be your breakfast for now, Watson. Come with me to the city's square." I soon dressed myself, and once we were on the move to the square, I ate my apple. Once we were there, shock fell into place. "Hang on, wasn't there a large Christmas tree here originally?" I asked my close friend. "Correct, Watson. It is no longer here, and we've been tasked with finding out why." Reaching into the pocket of his jacket, he pulled out his magnifying glass and inspected the crime scene closely. It did not take him long to gain a quick answer. He walked over to me, carrying a piece of paper that was of an unusual silver colour. "Look at this," he told me. He placed the magnifying glass just above the paper, and I looked through its magnification. There was a message, which read, "Loki Laufeyson was once here." "Loki?" I asked. "The enemy of the Earth's mightiest heroes, the Avengers? They have many adversaries, Watson. The Titan Thanos, the terrorist called the Mandarin, the sentient robot Ultron, Michael Korvac, Onslaught, all but named as a few of their enemies. Loki, however, is the greatest enemy of one of the founding members of the Avengers, Thor, the god of thunder." There was a pause, but then it hit me. "We need to find Thor, as he can track down his brother and return the tree." "Exactly, old chap," Sherlock beamed at me, "and I just know how." We quickly made our way to Heathrow Airport, where we took the next extremely fast-journeyed plane to New York. Once our destination had been reached, we hurried ourselves to the great New York hospital, where Sherlock desperately hunted for a doctor that went by the name of Donald Blake. Once we had found his consulting room, Sherlock began to question him. "How do we get to Asgard?" he asked. "How would I know?" the mysterious doctor told him as he limped with his cane. "I've never heard of the place." "Don't hide it, Thor Odinson. I know it is you." Blake slammed his walking stick on the ground, to which, in a bright flash of light, the god of thunder appeared. "How did you know?" he asked. "It was fairly simple. First of all, you sound like him, not to mention you are a strong resemblance, hairstyles aside. Also, you work closely with another Avenger, Dr. Stephen Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, but once a heavily talented neurosurgeon." "What do you want?" he asked, to which I answered him, "It is strongly believed that your brother, Loki, stole London Square's Christmas tree. He could be on Asgard, and we need you to get us there." With that, we followed him up onto the roof of the hospital, where he looked up to the sky. "Heimdall, open the Bifrost," he called. We stood there for a few seconds, to which I said, "Well, this sucks." Most unexpectedly, a rainbow of light shone down upon us and soon sucked us up. We hurtled through space until we landed in a golden room where a man stood wielding a bright silver sword. That was Heimdall. "Thor, why do you bring these three mortals?" he questioned him. "A tree has been stolen from Midgard that is often used for the festival of Christmas, and these two men, the detective Sherlock Holmes and Dr. John Watson, believe Loki has it." "If you say so," the man spoke. "I shall allow you to look for your tree, but be quick. Your father will not be pleased that you have brought more mortals here." As we continued looking around the golden utopia of Asgard, we soon found the god of mischief himself, Loki. "Well, brother, pleasant to see you again, is it not?" Firing his staff at Thor, the god of thunder turned female. Loki then summoned a blue box and froze my poor old friend Sherlock into ice. As the god of mischief disappeared, a giant creature of metal appeared. "The destroyer!" Thor yelled fiercely. "Stand back! I'll take it down!" Swirling his hammer, a whirlwind picked up the destroyer and threw it into the air. Thor used his hammer again to summon lightning, which shredded the destroyer to pieces that fell back to the ground. He then broke Sherlock free from the ice, and we headed off to look for Loki. Once again, we soon found him. This time, he had the tree with him and had handcuffs on his wrists. Nearby was Thor and Loki's father, Odin, who came to greet us. I have dealt with the troublemaker for you, so do not stress. I have the tree that you have lost, to which I must apologize for any inconvenience. That is quite all right, Sherlock smiled at him, but you might want the god of chaos to change the god of thunder's gender back. Handing over Loki's staff to me, I used its magic to turn Thor back into his normal self. I must thank you for what you have done, and I know how to repay you. Once we had returned back to Earth, Thor placed the tree where it should have been all along before returning to Asgard. That night at our apartment, Sherlock and I sat around a hot winter fire, drinking warm tea and eating ginger-nut biscuits. What an unusual case, I spoke first, breaking the long silence that we had established. And I thought Baskerville was an unusual case. You just don't know what will be thrown at you, Watson. Anything can happen in this day and age. On the bright side, we did save Christmas in London. I was cheerful over the ordeal. We only saved the tree, Watson. What I want to know is why Loki wanted it in the first place. To see if we would lose our Christmas joy if we lost our tree, perhaps, I guessed. But he rolled his eyes. Watson, dear chap, even if we were never able to get the tree back, Christmas would not be lost. People would have each other to care for, just like how we have each other. He sipped his tea, and soon told me, "May the new year be a very bright one."